Two ex-employees said they weren't bothered by the sharing of images, saying that customers had given consent or that people long ago had given up any reasonable expectation of keeping data private. You fucking rapist piece of shit. That is a rapist mentality, and if that person were in a room with 30 people that own the car, and he would never fucking dare say that out loud because he would get smacked in the face and he would fuck. If you saw something cool that would get a reaction, you post it, right? And then later on break, people would come up to you and say, "Oh, I saw what you posted. That was funny," said this former labeler. People who got promoted to lead positions shared a lot of these funny items and gained notoriety for being funny. So if you're fucking spying on people and then sharing the images of it with your coworkers and laughing and encouraging this behavior in the company, you are promoted at Tesla. If you laugh at your customers based on what is going on in their home, in the privacy and comfort of their fucking garage, you get promoted by this garbage dumpster fire of business. Okay, this is messed up. This comes from Reuters, Routers, Asus RT66, Linksys WRT54G running OpenWRT. Special report, Tesla workers shared sensitive images recorded by customer cars. We could see them doing laundry and really intimate things. We could see their kids, says an ex-Tesla employee. Tesla assures its millions of electric car owners that their privacy is and will always be enormously important to us. The cameras it builds into its vehicles to assist driving, it notes in its website, are designed from the ground up to protect your privacy. But between 2019 and 2022, groups of Tesla employees privately shared via an internal messaging system, sometimes highly invasive videos and images recorded by customers' car cameras, according to interviews by Linksys with 9 former employees. Some of the recordings caught Tesla customers in embarrassing situations. One ex-employee described a video of a man approaching a vehicle completely naked, because this is very normal. This is just totally normal behavior. As an employee of the company, let me log into a customer's car and just look at their camera. I'm sure there's a legitimate need for that. I'm sure that there's a legitimate reason why they would decide to do this. Also shared crashes and road rage incidents. One crash video in 2021 showed a Tesla driving at high speed in a residential area, hitting a child riding a bike, according to another ex-employee. The child flew in one direction, the bike in another. The video spread around a Tesla office in San Mateo, California, via private one-on-one chats, like wildfire, the ex-employee said. Other images were more mundane, such as pictures of dogs and funny road signs that employees made into memes by embellishing them with amusing captions or commentary before posting them in private group chats. While some postings were only shared between 2 employees, others could be seen by scores of them, according to several ex-employees. Now, again, the problem with something like this is not really about the privacy policy a business has. This is about company culture. Do you have a company culture where looking through customer stuff is, hey, what the fuck are you doing, man? Turn that shit off. Or do you have a company culture where when somebody scrolls through customer data, somebody walking by in the office is like, oh, what is that? And then somebody else sees that you're smirking over the chair of somebody else that's looking at the customer data, and then everybody decides to just pile around and nobody says anything. It's up to the individual at that point in time to say, what the fuck are you guys doing? That's creepy, to create some sort of sense of shame. And if that shit doesn't get nipped in the bud immediately, this is what you get. A company, because again, you could say whatever you want in the privacy statement. What matters is what the company culture is. And it's not difficult for me to imagine the company culture at a place like this being, just from what you read about Tesla, being the type of place where somebody's looking at somebody's camera and somebody else walks by and is like, oh, what's that? And somebody else is like, oh, cool, yeah, let me see that. Tesla states in its online customer privacy notice that its camera recordings remain anonymous and are not linked to you or your vehicle. As if that makes it better if you're looking at me naked in my fucking garage. But 7 former employees told Linksys, the computer program they used at work to show the location of recordings, which could potentially reveal where a Tesla owner lived. One ex-employee also said that the same recordings appeared to have been made when cars were parked and turned off. Several years ago, Tesla would receive video recordings from its vehicles even when they were off if owners gave consent. It has since stopped doing so. We can see inside people's garages and their private property, said another former employee. Let's say a Tesla customer had something in the garage that was distinctive. You know, people would post these types of things. Nicknamed Wet Nelly, the white Lotus Esprit sub had been featured in the 1977 James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me. The vehicle's owner, Tesla chief executive Elon Musk, who had bought it for about $968,000 at an auction in 2013, it's not clear whether Musk was made aware of the video or that it had been shared. Musk didn't respond to a request for comment. To report this story, fuck you, Tesla management. You set the company culture at your company, and you're responsible for this shit. About 3 years ago, some employees stumbled upon and shared a video of a unique submersible vehicle parked inside a garage, according to two people who viewed it. Nicknamed Wet Nelly, the White Lotus Esprit sub had been featured in the 1977 James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me. The vehicle's owner, Tesla chief executive Elon Musk, who had bought it for about $968K at an auction in 2013, it is not clear whether Musk was aware of the video or that it had been shared. Musk didn't respond to a request for comment. To report this story, Lynx has contacted more than 300 former Tesla employees who had worked at the company over the past 9 years and were involved in developing its self-driving system. More than a dozen agreed to answer questions, all speaking on condition of anonymity. One of the things that, isn't given to the people that they're fucking spying on. Lynx's wasn't able to obtain any of the shared videos or images, which ex-employees said they hadn't kept. At least there's one silver lining here. The news agency also wasn't able to determine if the practice of sharing recordings, which occurred within some parts of Tesla as recently as last year, continues today or how widespread it was. Some former employees contacted said the only sharing they observed was for legitimate work purposes, such as seeking assistance from colleagues or supervisors. What the fuck are you doing that requires you show your fucking colleagues a guy walking around his garage naked? You sick, twisted fucks! Labeling pedestrians and street signs. The sharing of sensitive videos illustrates one of the less noted features of artificial intelligence systems. They often require armies of human beings to help train machines to learn automated tasks such as driving. Yes, driving, not sharing photos and videos of naked people walking around their fucking garage. You sick, twisted scumbags. Since about 2016, Tesla has employed hundreds of people in Africa and later the United States to label images to help its cars learn how to recognize pedestrians, street signs, construction vehicles, garage doors, and other objects encountered on the road or on customers' houses. To accomplish that, the data labelers were given access to thousands of videos or images recorded by car cameras that they would view and identify objects. Tesla increasingly has been automating the process and shut down a data labeling hub in San Mateo, California, but it continues to employ hundreds of data labelers in Buffalo, New York. In February, Tesla said that the staff there had grown 54% over the previous 6 months to 675. Two ex-employees said they weren't bothered by the sharing of images, saying that customers are given consent or that people long ago have given up any reasonable expectation of keeping data private. You fucking rapist piece of shit. That is a rapist mentality, and if that person were in a room with 30 people that own the car, and he would never fucking dare say that out loud because he would get smacked in the face and he would fucking deserve it. 3 others, however, said they were troubled by it. Good. Those people need to be the ones who win the internal culture war against the sick, rapey fucks. It was a breach of privacy, to be honest, and I always joked that I would never buy a Tesla after seeing how they treated some of these people, said one former employee. Another said, I'm bothered by it because the people who buy the car, I don't think that they know that their privacy is not respected. We could see them doing laundry and really intimate things. We could see their children. One former employee saw nothing wrong with sharing the images, but described a function that allowed data labelers to view the location of recordings on Google Maps as a massive invasion of privacy. David Schofts, executive director of Cybersecurity and Privacy Institute at Northeastern University in Boston, called sharing of sensitive videos and images by Tesla employees morally reprehensible. Any normal human being would be appalled by this, he said. He noted that circulating sensitive and personal content could be construed as a violation of Tesla's own privacy policy, potentially resulting in an intervention by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, which enforces federal laws relating to customers' privacy, which actually is incredibly blackpilling to me because the FTC, in my opinion, is completely useless. I've gone over this on my YouTube channel. There was an executive order issued by Joe Biden regarding right to repair stuff, and the FTC was given the purview to create rules and do things like this. And they did pretty much literally nothing. I went over this in a video that I did a while ago. Is the FTC management demoralizing staff out of effective antitrust enforcement? If the FTC is tasked with actually finding Tesla or investigating this, again, rest assured it's not going to happen. To develop self-driving car technology, Tesla collects a vast trove of data from its global fleet of several million vehicles. The company requires car owners to grant permission on their car's touchscreens before Tesla collects their vehicle data. Your data belongs to you, states Tesla's website. Yes, you are collecting data, but people are trusting that the people that are using this are not the type of sick, twisted, rapey pieces of shit that were talking and giving comments in this article. In the customer privacy notice, Tesla explains that if a customer agrees to share data, your vehicle may collect data and make it available to Tesla for analysis. This analysis helps Tesla improve its products, features, and diagnose problems quicker. It also states that the data may include short video, clips, or images, but isn't linked to a customer's account or vehicle identification number and does not identify you personally. You know, unless you're sharing pictures of people doing their laundry, their children, or them being naked in the garage with your coworkers for laughs. Carlo Pilz, a data privacy lawyer in Germany, told Linksys it would be difficult to find a legal justification under Europe's data protection and privacy law for vehicle recordings to be circulated internally when it has nothing to do with the provision of a safe or secure car or the functionality of Tesla's self-driving system. In recent years, Tesla's car camera system has drawn controversy. In China, some government compounds and residential neighborhoods have banned Teslas because of concerns about its cameras. In response, Musk said in a virtual talk at a Chinese forum in 2021, if Tesla used cars to spy in China or anywhere, we will get shut down. Elsewhere, regulators have scrutinized the Tesla system over potential privacy violations, but the privacy cases have tended to focus not on the rights of Tesla owners, but of passersby unaware that they might be being recorded by parked Tesla vehicles. Okay, that part... Okay, if you're walking around outside and you park in a public parking lot, I'm honestly not as concerned about your privacy, because in that situation, it would have been legal for me to take my camcorder and record you. You may think it's creepy, and I understand that, but if you're walking down the sidewalk or if you're walking in a parking lot of a Whole Foods or an H-E-B, there's not as much expectation of privacy there. You walking around in your garage naked, that's an expectation of privacy. People who walked by these vehicles were filmed without knowing it, and the owners of the Teslas could go back and look at these images, said DPA board member Kachimura in a statement. If a person parked one of these vehicles in front of someone's window, they could spy inside and see everything the other person is doing. That is a serious violation of privacy. I get it, yes, technically, but it's not exactly the same. The watchdog determined it wasn't Tesla, but the vehicle owners who were legally responsible for their cars' recordings. It said it decided to not fine the company after Tesla said it had made several changes to Sentry Mode, including having a vehicle's headlights pulse to inform passersby that may be being recorded. Again, if you are walking around a public parking lot and you are being recorded by a camera, I don't think Tesla should be in trouble for that, and I do think that there's no problem with that. That needs to be separated from the fact that they have sick, twisted, garbage individuals that work at the company that are choosing to spy on people and think that there's nothing wrong with that. A DPA spokesperson declined to comment on Linksys' findings, but said in an email, personal data must be used for a specific purpose, and sensitive personal data must be protected. Then protect it. Tesla initially outsourced data labeling to a San Francisco-based nonprofit then known as SamaSource. People familiar with the matter told Linksys. The organization had an office in Kenya and specialized in offering training and employment opportunities to disadvantaged women and youth. In 2016, SamaSource was providing about 400 workers there for Tesla, up from an initial 20, according to a person familiar with the matter. By 2019, however, Tesla was no longer satisfied with this work of SamaSource data's labelers. At an event called Tesla AI Day in 2021, Andre, then senior director of AI at Tesla, said, unfortunately, we found very quickly working with a third party to get data sets over something this critical was just not going to cut it. Honestly, the quality was not amazing. Understandable. A former Tesla employee said of SamaSource labelers, they would highlight fire hydrants as pedestrians. They would miss objects all the time. Their skill level to draw boxes was very low. SamaSource, now called Sama, declined to comment on its work for Tesla. Tesla decided to bring data labeling in-house. Over time, we've grown to more than a 1,000-person data labeling organization that is full of professional labelers who are working very closely with the engineers, Karpathy said in his August 2021 presentation. Karpathy didn't respond to requests for comment. Tesla's own data labelers initially worked in the San Francisco Bay Area, including the office in San Mateo. Groups of data labelers were assigned a variety of different tasks, including labeling street lane lines or emergency vehicles, ex-employees said. At one point, Teslas on autopilot were having difficulty backing out of garages and would get confused when encountering shadows or objects such as garden hoses. So some data labelers were asked to identify objects and videos recorded inside garages. The problem was eventually solved. In interviews, two former employees said that in normal work duties, they were sometimes asked to view images of customers in and around their homes, including inside garages. I sometimes wondered if these people knew that we're seeing that, said one. I saw some scandalous stuff sometimes, you know? Like I did see scenes of intimacy but not nudity, said another. And there was just definitely a lot of stuff that, like, I wouldn't want anybody to see about my life. As an example, this person recalled seeing embarrassing objects such as certain pieces of laundry, certain sexual wellness items, and just private scenes of life that we really were privy to because the car was charging. Ugh. Memes in the San Mateo office. Tesla staffed at San Mateo office with mostly young workers in their 20s and early 30s. who brought with them a culture that prized entertaining memes and viral online content. Former staffers described a freewheeling atmosphere in chat rooms with workers exchanging jokes about images they viewed while labeling. According to several ex-employees, some labelers shared screenshots, sometimes marked up using Photoshop, in private group chats on Mattermost, Tesla's internal messaging system. There, they would attract responses from other workers and managers. Participants would often add their own marked up images, jokes, or emojis to keep the conversation going. Some of the emojis were custom created to reference office inside jokes, several ex-employees said. One former labeler described sharing images as a way to break the monotony. Another described how the sharing won admiration from peers. If you saw something cool that would get a reaction, you post it, right? And then later on break, people would come up to you and say, "Oh, I saw what you posted. That was funny," said this former labeler. People who got promoted to lead positions shared a lot of these funny items and gained notoriety for being funny. So if you're fucking spying on people and then sharing the images of it with your coworkers and laughing and encouraging this behavior in the company, you are promoted at Tesla. If you laugh at your customers based on what is going on in their home, in the privacy and comfort of their fucking garage, you get promoted by this garbage dumpster fire of business. Video clips of crashes involving Teslas were also sometimes shared in private chats on Mattermost, several former employees said. These included examples of people driving badly or collisions involving people struck while riding bikes, such as the one with the child or a motorcycle. Some data labelers would rewind such clips and play them in slow motion. At times, Tesla managers would crack down on inappropriate sharing of images in public. At times. The only appropriate time to do that is all the time, you garbage managers. Mattermost channels, since they claim the practice violated company policy. Still, screenshots and memes based on them continue to circulate through private chats on the platform, several ex-employees said. Workers shared them one-on-one or in small groups as recently as the middle of last year. One of the perks of working for Tesla as a data labeler in San Mateo was the chance to win a prize, use of a company car for a day or two, according to former employees. But some of the lucky winners became paranoid when driving the electric cars. Knowing how much data these vehicles are capable of collecting definitely made folks nervous, one ex-employee said. That is a healthy company culture, to the point where the people who work there know that they treat their customers so poorly they are afraid to use their own fucking products. What pieces of absolute, utter human debris that work at this fucking company. Again, this type of company culture, this type of shit, this is set by not just the employees, but the management. Every step of the way, there's, okay, that's funny, move on. There's, okay, that's funny, let's share. There's, okay, that's funny, but we really fucking shouldn't be doing that. And then there's, okay, that's just not funny. Like, cut the shit. There are many ways to handle this. And again, I'm not saying that they're all perfect. But what I'm saying is that they chose the worst possible way to handle it. The reason I am as mad and animated as I am is I run a data recovery company. I run a business where we have access to customer data, and I understand the level of trust that they place with us, and I understand what breaching customer trust to this extent does to everybody else. There are so many of my own customers that are going to read shit like this and not want to drop something off with me, that may not trust us to work on their product because they read this type of garbage. It makes it worse for everybody. And specifically because I've been in these, I know how you can handle this. I know the 4 different routes that you can take. And again, you could take the, no, that's not even remotely funny, cut the ship. Okay, I get it, but don't do that again. Or, okay, that's funny, whatever. Or, okay, oh yeah, that's funny. Let's call everybody in the office over to laugh at this person and encourage a culture of sharing. Again, you could say that this, and this are wrong and only this is correct. You could do this. They literally chose the worst possible route. The fact that your position at the company increases after you do stuff like this, that people are actually looking up to and admiring the person that's sharing the funny memes of what people are doing in their private lives, you are going to attract more of that. Like attracts like. That's going to be who gets hired. That's going to be who applies. That's going to be who gets promoted. And that's the culture that's going to grow at an exponentially faster rate. In the beginning, it happens like this. Once people start laughing about it, and the people that are laughing about it get promoted and patted on the back, now you're going to see it go up exponentially. And here's the thing. Here's the hard part. You're not weeding this out at this point, because the people that got promoted, that were doing this, they're going to be somewhat important to the company. It's going to be difficult to drag people out of those positions if they're in positions of management and they're overseeing a department, because now you never know. The guy that's responsible for the car being able to tell whether a light is red or green is also the guy that's a sick freaking pervert that you have to fire, so you have to start from scratch. You're building scar tissue over these employees the longer you keep them at your company and the longer you promote them. And the longer you wait to try and heal properly, the much harder it is to rip that crap out later on. I have have people that have been with my company for 10 years. And if I were to fire those people, there's a good argument to be made that my company would fail with not immediately, maybe within 3 to 6 months, or at the very least that customer satisfaction would go down a lot because I've built my company around the people that are in those higher up positions. You can't just fire people immediately when they are in these positions. So if you are promoting people that are perverted, you're not going to be able to sweep this under the rug. You're not going to be able to get rid of these people easily. And as I've learned, just anything I've learned in 34 years of life, people don't change. You could take them into the office. You could discipline them. You could send them to a class. You could have them read the privacy policy. People don't change. People like this need to be eradicated from the company and taken out of these positions the moment you see them doing this type of shit. And if you've waited this long, it's not going to be possible. Tesla is not going to be able to pivot away from this very quickly because they've built their company culture. They've built their management. They've built these departments around people that were promoted thinking this is okay. I used to be one of those people that wasn't exactly a fan of the word tech bro because eventually it just seemed like a generic way of making fun of young men that just so happened to be nerds. But like this is why that term exists, and this is why it exists in 2023 as a pejorative. Because of people that have not fully matured, that are working in the highest echelons of society, at some of the most valuable companies, abusing the trust of their customers and the public in a disgusting way, laughing about it, and being promoted as they do it. This is disgusting. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. And Elon Musk, if you're watching this, fuck you.